Concerns about the COVID-19 pandemic lingered over the legislature this week, where state lawmakers are taking their own precautions. As for what that looks like, we got information via Skype from Luige del Puerto, editor of the Arizona Capital Times in Phoenix. So traditionally, the state legislature starts to wrap up the session. Any indication that's likely to happen here in the next couple weeks or so?
What's going to happen is they're going to try and pass what they refer to as a skinny budget. Effectively, it's a budget that's based on the previous fiscal year, and they're going to adjust it for inflation. They're going to add a couple spending items that they've all agreed upon. And I think the plan, or what we're hearing, the plan is to recess, to suspend the session in the meantime. And then they're going to come back in a couple weeks. Now, when exactly, we don't know.
There are some lawmakers who are asking for emergency bills to be passed. Any specifics about what they're asking for in these bills?
Well, the Democrats, for example, are pushing for legislation that they believe will help workers at this time. They want to ensure, for example, that utilities are not turned off. They want to ensure that benefits, workers get the unemployment benefits. The Democrats have urged the legislature to consider these things in the state budget, the skinny budget that they're supposed to tackle today. The likelihood of those Democratic demands actually getting passed at this point are minimal.
Where does education fit into all this? Because there's some question about the instructional hours that have been met thus far this school year.
The Senator Sylvia Allen and Representative Michelle Udall have unveiled the plan yesterday, and the plan effectively provides certainty to the schools at a time that they're closed down, and it outlines what will happen if the schools reopen, say, by the end of the month, and what happens if the schools don't reopen by the end of the month.
What's the climate like, given that the CDC is recommending that groups of 50 or more don't gather? There are open meeting laws that have to be followed.
It's very stressful. As you know, we've never seen anything quite like this. We know that there are at least 4 legislators right now that have adopted what you call social distancing. So the Senate, for example, as of yesterday, does not have a functioning Republican majority because they're missing 2 people. In the House, Representative Steve Pierce, another Republican, also said that he's going to start social distancing. He might show up today to vote for the skinny budget, or he might not be in today. However, the House has a contingency already adopted for that. The House yesterday passed a rule to allow for remote voting. That's something that technology allows for it, but never contemplated that until today, or until this week, or this time.
Okay. In the midst of all this, on Tuesday, there was an election in the state of Arizona. Joe Biden, of course, as we know now, the numbers are in, has defeated Bernie Sanders. How does this set the stage as we inch closer toward November?
Well, we know, for example, that Maricopa County Recorder Adrian Fontes tried to mail all the ballots to everybody, effectively institute a countywide mail-in ballot program, and his plan was thwarted. People said that he didn't have the legal authority to do something as dramatic as what he was trying to do. And this week, Secretary of the State Katie Hobbs asked the legislature to pass a law to allow for a statewide mail-in ballot. It is something that Democrats had contemplated in the past. It seemed like a pretty far-fetched scenario, just 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. And, that idea is now before the state legislature. What we're hearing from from the legislative leaders is that they're not quite immediately shutting the idea down. It really depends on what happens in the next couple weeks. Are we going to see this self-isolation that we're all in continue for the next couple months? Is coronavirus going to go away when summer rolls around? There's a lot of unknowns.
For more about the coronavirus, you can follow all of Arizona Public Media's coverage and get information about resources at azpm.org.